evac. Evac is not a system with which I am immensely familiar, but I'm guessing from the name it might have something to do with leaving the first planet. Am I correct in that thinking, Marshall?
You might be. You might be. It's certainly designed that way. And my goodness me, these orbits are a bit widdly wonky, but hey ho.
Aren't they just?
Back to the drawing board on those orbits.
That's not how any of this works.
That's not how I saved it, that's for sure. But it's fine. It works. Fine. We'll deal with it. It's cool. This is Evac as a spawning planet here. This little metal planet here. Now, it needs to be said that the spawn is wide enough to get either of these 3 clusters of mechs. You can spawn at one end, or you can spawn in the middle. And you can then turtle up on the expansions just outside of your ramps, in either instance. And that should allow you enough time to get off-world and go over to Exfil. Ice planet over there with a lot of metal. 40. More metal than Evac has to offer. Or all the way out to the far reaches with the lava planet Muster. There we go. Those are your options. And here come our players.
So both players choosing to start directly next to a batch of 3 metal, as you might expect. At this stage of this tournament, we're now into game number... What game is this now? 6?
Game 6,
Game
yes.
number 6. This is game 6. Good, my maths is absolutely on point here. Game 6 of the Beast versus Beast tournament, with Nick and AndreasG playing for the grand prize of $1,000.
That's an astronomical amount of money.
Oh, I'm not doing space puns.
You're not doing space puns?
Here, Marshall. I can't do space puns.
But I was only just getting started.
I don't have the mental energy for this. Or capacity. I can barely cast, let alone cast and make puns at the same time. Early build for Nick, bots and air, with a scout coming straight out and being sent airborne, and that's being followed up by Andreas, who's chosen to build an interceptor first, not a scout. Both players with 3 fabricators pushing out, beginning their early and initial expansion. I lied, actually. Andreas has already built his scout. It's currently sat right next to Nick's base, and it's got good intel on what he's up to.
Yeah, and both players, of course, going for the other batch of 3 on their platform. The easiest to defend by far, but you do have to watch out for the boombots. I have seen a few of those out and about. It might have been picked off. Here comes Andreas is over here from the west of Nick's base. We might have a boombot meeting a boombot here. Who knows? Oh, Nick sees it, and he's going to run past it. Andreas waves as it goes past. All right, fair enough. Does a little scuttle jig it is.
This is the first time we've seen boombots in this tournament, and it's come from both players at the same time. So there's obviously some theory here as to their utility on this map.
Well, boombot snipes do tend to be a thing used in the higher levels of play there. That or spark drops from pelicans. But you know, these players do adapt to that sort of thing, and you can either spark drop over the poles where not a lot of people will be bothering to look, but you know, I think boombot's probably the way to go with the number of ramps up into
I
this
haven't
ball.
seen any sparks being produced by either player just yet. We've got Icarus now coming in to do some raiding.
If that Icarus can survive... Oh no, there's a Galata there. It won't manage to do anything against... Well... Oh, the Galata is focusing down the hummingbirds. It almost picked off a fab.
That could have been a bit of an upset there. There were 2 fabricators there vulnerable to the Icarus. If that had managed to pick them off, that would have been quite a nice, juicy win for Nick early on. Wasn't able to succeed, however. Has 4 fabricators of his own on the front line, with an Icarus now coming in from Andreas and a Galata being rushed up. Will it be able to deal with it in time? Oh, is he going to lose some fabricators here? I suspect he is. He's ignored the Galata.
He's ignored the Galata! Oh, he's lost a fab.
Crucially scattered them all, but is he going to be able to succeed in taking out the Icarus? No, he's going to lose all those fabricators. This is crucial. He's lost so many fabricators so quickly. He finally finishes up the Galata. He's going to do it in time.
And the fab goes down, and no, it doesn't!
Three fabricators lost. That's a very significant turn of events this early in the game. Lots of fabricators down. Nick is going to have to refocus his production away from building military units and back into building eco. That's a massive setback for him.
That was quite something to see, particularly given how crucial this game is for Nick. Because, you know...
I have just spotted another fabricator just lost on the back as well. There's 2 fabricators being picked off for Nick. Again, he's lost way too many. As you say, this early in the game and with so much at stake, that's a mistake he could not afford to make.
That's going to be significant for him, and he needs to win this one to make sure that he has the best chance of going into the tiebreak, given that Andreas is in the lead 3-2 at the moment. Because if he wins this one, and he loses the next one, then at least he can play on his home system, if he so chooses. Here we go, into the orbit from Nick.
Orbital, here it comes. This is the saving grace. Bearing in mind that the last time Nick went orbital first, it played out very well, but he's not as far in the lead this time. Andreas also going orbital at the same time, and a tier 2 factory being queued up alongside it.
Apologies for that, I just had to down my...
down blinds.
Down blinds, and I'm going to need to do the other one, so give me 5 seconds.
I'll keep you going, don't worry, Marshall. So we've actually seen that although Nick started his orbital launcher first, Andreas just has more build power and has committed more build power into his orbital launcher, and that's going to be finished first. He's actually going to be the first getting off-world. I suspect he's going to go. He's left it idle. He hasn't started building anything in it yet. I think he's going to commit his fabricators instead to this tier 2 factory. Got a fabricator now coming out for both players. Both players now rushing into the orbital layer. I'm bringing up the orbital layer in my picture-in-picture now.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one here. Yeah, it really is. Andreas has the eco lead at the moment. He has a couple of fabricator lead. But, you know, both armies are still... The same fab account does certainly favour Andreas, for sure, because of all those losses that Nick took early on. But both of these players are going to be fighting over the other planets. This is going to be interesting.
So it may well be the case, if Nick's able to outplay Andreas in the orbital layer, that he may be able to recover from these early mistakes. Or costly though they may have been, it may in fact have cost him this entire starting planet by the looks of things. So there are armies now moving in on Nick's base, and I don't really think he's going to be able to do a huge amount about it. He's losing certainly a lot of his eco. Fabricators out there on the front line next to that vehicle factory at risk.
And he just mismicroed his Astreus as well. Oh, that's crucial time, and now he can't do it because Andreas has air sat right there. That was very risky commitment from, but he has to take these risks. He has to get back in this game, and he's still sat in the air layer. He's not going up. Nick, what are you doing?
That is so
wakety. Ooh, you are so lucky that Andreas doesn't have any air units to follow that up with, boy. Boy, oh boy.
Alright, okay,
that was
there's
a thing.
lots of stuff happening in the orbital layer now. There's the commander going, and Nick has landed. Oh, and Andreas has put a teleporter down right next to Nick's. Oh, Nick's fabricator must have been kicked off this planet. He built a single metal extractor from space. Andreas followed it up with 2 Avengers, killed off his orbital fabricator, and is now building a teleporter where Nick was hoping to expand. Nick, I think, now moving over to the lava planet instead, but Andreas has followed him right into the orbital layer, and he's not giving him any ground. The commander has just been landed on this planet now with Andreas' teleporter.
It's going to be quite a thing, this game, for sure. And Nick, actually, is about to build a teleporter over on Muster as well. Goodness me.
There's a lot happening here, Marshy.
It's, you know, this map was very much designed on the premise that this first expansion is the one that you need to get to and hunker down and just defend while you get into orbit. As long as you can hold that and defend it while you get into orbit, there's not a significant amount of metal in the other places on the planet that you can lose to really sway the fact that you're retreating off planet. But Andreas
looks to me like Andreas is going to push into the vast majority of Nick's base here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on to much of it. He's certainly going to keep losing eco, and he can't afford to right now. He's at half Andreas's eco.
He's half Andreas's eco. He can't really defend this main base, and Andreas is just going to keep pushing in and expanding, which is what he wants to do. But as long as he can keep Andreas occupied and make Andreas think that he's now focusing elsewhere and doesn't really have much metal worth attacking on this main planet, Andreas might well just commit all of his armies to the other planets, which is what Nick kind of needs at the moment. He needs this reprieve to rebuild this base, get this T2 up. Once he get this T2 up, he can get a Faber out of that, send it to another planet maybe.
But is he going to be able to survive long enough to do that? Are these ants going to come in here and pick off the fabricators before they're able to complete their construction, I think?
It's looking increasingly that way, isn't it? Nick now, though, I'm just going to put that in picture so you can see that devastation as it happens. Nick moving his fabbers around the other side of the factory because he's just stalling metal. Both players now with fabricators over on the lava planet Muster. Nick was expanding to metal, but Andreas is about to take it out with an Avenger, which is going to bottleneck his metal even further. Oh, no, he gets away! He just gets away, so Nick is just about managing all of these fronts at the same time. And Andreas, with the huge superior unit count and slammers, the T2 presence on the ice planet here, Exfil, and he's just sending his units everywhere. He doesn't even care. He's just sending them here, there, which way, and everywhere to make sure that Nick gets locked down. And Nick feels right out of it. He lost his momentum big time from the early part of that game, really, where he just lost so many fabbers. That was unbelievable. You somehow managed to make the map worse, Marshy. Talk about no excuses, Nick. What was that?
Well, that was...
Couldn't disagree more, says Andreas.
That was... yeah, I think it all... I hate to pin down an entire game into a single moment, but there was that key moment there where he lost the air battle and he missed micro that Galata turret and lost to those fabricators. He was on the back foot from that moment on. He was trying to rebuild lost things that he didn't need to have lost in the first place. The missed microing, the loss of the fabricators, just completely killed him off. And he was never able to get back on the front foot, even though he started his orbital game before Andreas. Andreas just had the eco there to shoot past him and thwart him at every opportunity.
It was, well, let's go and chat to them about it, because, well, Nick's still muted up there. He must be reeling from that, but let's go and see what Andreas has to say about that. Sir.
GG.
GG.
Ooh, someone sounding very despondent.
So I personally, I'd quite like to hear from Nick first. So Nick, where do you think that all went wrong for you?
Mostly letting my fighters get killed by Galata, and overcommitting for a fab snipe. That was bad. I sniped the docks with the hopes to snipe his fabs with a boombot, and then I completely ignored everything else. Adding the second, like just not finishing my Galata and not reclaiming the Icarus, like both strategies that I just didn't commit to. Pretty sure that threw me the game. There was no room for recovery after that.
So Andreas, what was your sort of take from that? How were you able to press home your advantage after that?
Well, when he overcommits to the snipe and it backfires on him because it opens his fabrics up to being vulnerable, and after that it's just a matter of not letting him re-expand and then make sure that any sort of game-changing strategy, let's say down the line of Locust, although I wouldn't be worried about Locust on this map, but it serves the same purpose. Anything that could turn the game massively like a different planet, right? Which would be relevant in this case, that's contested, essentially. And as long as I can contest other planets, then I'm basically all good. As long as he can't even expand to his naturals. But I think it was a very important point, as Nick points out, like this early little wiggle with him trying to snipe my Fabris, me having the Galata up, and then it coming to rebound on him, essentially.
We were screaming, and I'm sure the chat was screaming too. The Galata turret that got left unfinished, Nick, that was crucial.
Yeah, it was about committing to strategy. I knew I had enough fighters to snipe that, but I just didn't like select them properly. Didn't go around his air. I think I could have gotten away with just getting one fab lost, which would have been just fine.
You should have just finished it, probably. The Galata.
Yeah, maybe, probably. You know, speed of the moment, no commitment. That's
It's hard to make the right decision there. It's like either you lose them all committing, or you might save some scattering them about. So that's very true.
Well, guys,
to you though, Marshall. Like, I think it's an improved version for sure.
that's
And I'm sure Nick comes around whenever he gets some victories on it.
that map is a one-trick pony. That map is going to be about boosting air and rushing two bot factories. I don't think there's
Just the guy who built orbital.
Well,
the game is going to be over before orbital. Don't get that wrong. It's
that map is now behind us, so it doesn't matter. It's the past. Next up, though, Andreas, you have 4 wins. It is now series point. Nick, you may now choose Shard or your home system. What will it be?
My system. We definitely are going for my system.
You're
alright.
choosing your system, aptly named Ubers Don't Know How to Orbital. And I think that has been demonstrated pretty well this whole series.
It hasn't been too bad though, Marshall.
Hasn't been too bad. Well, yeah. I mean,
Don't be unfair on this. It's been some nice orbital play, like except from getting the SSX snipe in. That was pretty horrible.
That was pretty good. We were interested to see whether Nick would be able to pull off something similar, but you definitely wised up to the orbital game on this particular map.
It's not gonna happen again, let's say. If it
Okay.
does, then I'll eat my hat, I guess.
Well, I'm looking forward to having a video of that after an upcoming game.
Oh, so that's it. So Andreas is now committed to consuming 1 piece of headwear on completion of a successful orbital snipe by Nick.
That I
I've said
didn't.
it now. It's on the internet. It doesn't come off again. That's how this works.
so, Andreas, you're in the lobby. You can see the system arrangement. What is your immediate reaction to this?
I mean, he needs gas, right? It's Nick. Without the gas, how is he gonna win the game? So I guess it's gonna be 1 planet each, and let's go for the gas. It's not the kind of system I like to see. It doesn't. It lacks a lot of dynamic. It reduces the gameplay into gimmicks. But I mean, Nick's got to do what Nick's got to do to win, right? And a map like this might give him a better chance, I guess.
I mean, you were both allowed to freely design a new map,
Indeed.
if you so desired. And, well, let's just say he took us up on that offer big time, folks in chat. You'll probably be surprised at what Nick's got in store for us. In the meantime, though, folks, may the best man win. Andreas, you are 1 win away from $1,000. Nick, it's all in now. And,
Good luck, both of you guys.
Yeah,
Good
indeed.
luck, Nick.
Look, can I get can I get the lobby open? Because I cannot accept invites.
Oh, I thought I made it public. There you go. That should now work for you.
All right, guys. I guess we'll see you on the other side.
Indeed.
Yes, we will.
Tension's mounting now. Andreas is still playing it cool. But I think he's sweating. He's got to be sweating now, especially on this system.
And I reckon Nick is probably also a bit rattled. He's 1 loss away from throwing away the $1,000.
He is, but he has got the home advantage now. He's down on the ropes, but the ropes have got a bit of spring in them, so he's got the opportunity now to come bounding back in and start swinging. And he needs to in this game. So this is interesting here, because just looking at the system arrangement here, we have 2 potential spawning planets. So that means that, in fact, having looked at this map, does that mean each player is going to start on a different planet by default, or is there a choice of which planet to start on?
Each player has their own planet to spawn on.
Ah,
It's a bit
Okay,
like
that
Fulcrum,
changes things up.
for those who are familiar with ranked PA. It's a bit like Fulcrum in that, you have your own moons to start on. The difference being that, unlike Fulcrum, where the central planet is you know, an Earth planet or something that you can fight over with air and ground and naval conventional units. This time, it's a gas giant. Who'd have thought?